Born at the end of the 10th century, Elfritha of Wessex heard from a young age about her remarkable beauty. Her extraordinary appearance was meant to be her ticket into the world of the highest nobility. And so it happened. First, she became the wife of King Ethelwald's best friend, and then, after King Edgar, in a fit of rage, struck her husband with a spear, she agreed to marry the king. Elfritha was ceremoniously crowned. With her royal status came another role. She became the stepmother to the king's children. At the time of their marriage, the English monarch had two children, one from his first wife and another from a mistress. His daughter, named Edith, born from a union with a nun, was raised in the Wilton Monastery, while Prince Edward, the king's eldest son and heir to the throne, resided at the royal castle. The 17-year-old stepmother took an immediate dislike to him. The reason for her animosity was simple. Although the king was madly in love with his beautiful wife, the throne was destined for Edward, not for Elfritha's children. However, the queen soon realized that this could be remedied. After she herself gave birth to a son, she managed to secure preferential rights for him. The king signed a special decree stating that the throne should first be inherited by Edmund, Elfritha's son, and only then by Edward. 6 years later, the queen had another son, Athelred. It seemed that the queen could finally relax. The English king consulted her on everything and allowed Elfritha to govern the realm during his absences. Documents from 7 courts remain to this day, showing that the queen fulfilled her husband's duties. Yet, Elfritha continued to harbor a quiet hatred for her stepson. The boy was growing up strong and healthy, in stark contrast to her own children. Edmund, Elfritha's eldest son, was weak and often ill, and he eventually died. This meant that the throne still passed to Edward. The king was unwilling to stir the pot of succession again, choosing instead to postpone the matter. As it turned out, this was a grave mistake. Just 5 years later, King Edgar passed away. According to the very documents he had signed, the throne was taken by the eldest son. The object was feudal, the law was on the prince's side, and his claims were supported by the powerful Dunstan, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Additionally, Edward received backing from the relatives of the queen's first husband, the one who had been killed by the king. Elfritha was biting her nails in frustration. She felt utterly powerless against her stepson. The darkest day for the queen arrived, the coronation of the despised Prince Edward. Distressed, Elfritha retreated to her family home. However, Elfritha's family had a strong position in Wessex for good reason. In this part of the kingdom, vassals expressed their willingness to recognize the rights of the widow's second son. Their arguments were compelling. While Edward was indeed the eldest son, he was born of a woman of low status, and during a time when the late King Edgar had not yet been crowned. In stark contrast, the younger Prince Athelred was born of a marriage between a true king and a woman of noble lineage. In Byzantium, such lineage was termed porphyrogenitus, granting significant advantages in claims to the throne. A rift began to form in England. The clergy were also divided in their opinions, and the specter of a civil war loomed. A compromise proposal emerged to divide the kingdom between the brothers. After all, just recently, the island had hosted 7 kingdoms. Why not have at least 2? But Elfritha was not willing to relinquish any power. She wanted it all. Young King Edward arrived at Corfe Castle, where his half-brother Athelred and the Dowager Queen awaited him. No sooner had he dismounted than he was struck by a treacherous dagger in the back. Edward could not recover from such a wound, and he has since been remembered in history as the Martyr King. Next in line by birthright was Athelred, a 12-year-old boy who, logically, was only called king. Until he came of age, the Kingdom of England was governed by Elfritha. She achieved everything she wanted. However, this tale would long embed itself in the medieval folklore of the people, portraying the theme of the wicked and unjust stepmother.